PDT Achary, to you first. This matter has gone to the Ethics Committee. Does that mean, based on an affidavit that a businessman gives, where he says that, yes, my Mahua Moitra gave her login number to me, that he doesn't talk about cash and gifts at all in his affidavit, but talks about the login number being given? Is that sufficient for her to face disqualification?
Well, there is no disqualification involved in this. It is actually, the either suspension or expulsion. That is the extreme kind of punishment which is given by the House to a member. Disqualification.
Can that be done by the Ethics Commission, sir? Can the Ethics Committee itself decide?
Yes,
please go ahead.
I was coming to that. Now, so far as the Ethics Committee is concerned, Ethics Committee does not have that kind of a mandate to recommend the expulsion of a member. Because that is done by the Privileges Committee. Actually, if you look at this case, the main charge in this case is that there was a quid pro quo between them. And he was promoting his interest through questions and all that, and taking money, gratification, illegal gratification. This is the basic charge. And then, naturally, this matter should have gone to the Privileges Committee of Parliament, Lok Sabha. Because bribery, accepting bribe by a member from anybody is a serious breach of privilege and contempt of the House. And such a case of breach of privilege is looked into, examined, investigated by the Privileges Committee only. I do not know why this has been referred to the Ethics Committee.
Okay, so you're saying that this should have been referred to the Privileges Committee, which has the powers then to decide whether the charges are sufficient enough to recommend either suspension or expulsion. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, let me turn for a moment to Mr. Biswajit Bhattacharya. Mr. Biswajit Bhattacharya, your take on what you are seeing. Mahua Moitra says, look, this is preposterous. This is someone who's a former boyfriend of mine, a jilted boyfriend who's targeting me, who's using this businessman who incidentally 3 days ago did not make any such comments, in fact denied ever having given any gifts or cash. Suddenly now in an affidavit says, yes, Mahua Moitra did approach me. How do you respond? Do you believe that this is a strong enough case, or do you see this as a smear campaign to target someone who has targeted the Adani group in particular?
Maybe a combination of partly both, because the allegations are of serious in nature, but at the same time, it is premature to say that this constitutes any contravention at this stage. This is allegation versus counter-allegation. Now, the matter has also gone to Delhi High Court, and entire, controversy started on 14th of October, that is last Saturday. And this pertains to allegations from 2019 to 2023. So 4 years. Now, nothing had happened. Nothing was known till 14th of October, when abruptly, and perhaps out of the blue to the entire world, the complaint was lodged by the gentleman concerned, who was a close friend of the lady member of parliament. And one complaint was lodged to the Central Bureau of Investigation, detailed investigation on the same day, and another complaint was lodged to the member of parliament who belongs to a different political party. On Sunday, the next day, the member of parliament of a rival political party writes to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha on a Sunday, and on Monday, legal notice is issued by the lady member of parliament comprehensively, and on the very next day, since apology was sought, apology was not given, Delhi High Court suit was filed. So under these circumstances, Rajdeep, my considered opinion is, as of now, So much of, and this affidavit which the...
No, as of now what? As of now what? Let's be clear. As of now?
As of now, the triggering point of the entire controversy which has come before the nation is this particular open-ended affidavit filed by the industrialist, a rival industrialist, and he has not yet been called by either the Privileges Committee or Ethics Committee. I'm surprised the matter has gone to Ethics Committee, and on 26th they are being... You see, when you take on the high and mighty in the country by asking questions in Parliament. Asking questions in the Parliament is a constitutional obligation. Every Lok Sabha member is required to ask questions. He should seek question from his constituency to nurse the constituency. Now the question is the quid pro quo aspect under the Prevention of Corruption Act. As per the Constitution Bench judgment of the Supreme Court, the standard of proof will have to be, ultimately whether this case...
Who has to prove it? Does Mahua have to prove her innocence, or does Mr. Jai Dehadrai and Mr. Hiranandani and Mr. Nishikant Dubey, they have to prove? Who has to make...
A person who levels the allegation has to prove, and there is a presumption also under Section 20 of the Prevention of Corruption Act that has been interpreted comprehensively by a constitution bench of the Supreme Court. So I personally feel at this stage, to a lady member of Parliament for having taken on the high and mighty and highest in the country, I think this kind of a thing is a part, and we will have to be accepted, and ultimately law will have to take its own course.
Okay, let me bring in
some price every public, but asking questions in the Parliament, and this may also be an attempt to silence and to basically to remove the inconvenient questions which are being asked. The questions will have to be answered. The questions may be whether these are motivated, tendentious, with an oblique, interest or consideration. It is a matter of evidence.
Okay, the evidence, therefore, from your experience there, Mr. PDT Achary, does it have to be of a conclusive nature, like it was, remember, in the sting operation which was carried out in the Cash for Questions in 2006-07, at that time several MPs lost their membership because it was all on tape. Will you need video evidence? It is otherwise one word against the other. Mr. Hiranandani 3 days ago claims he knows nothing about it, suddenly puts out this affidavit. Mahua Moitra denies it. Jai Dehadrai, the lawyer, has filed a complaint before the CBI. What is the nature of evidence required here? Or is this going to be, what does the Ethics Committee need to decide on this?
Actually, the committee has to sift the entire evidence, and then they have to prove it.
Now, who has to make the proof? Does Nishikant Dubey and Mr. Hiranandani have to prove it?
Yes, the people who made complaints, they have to give conclusive proof about this particular issue. And therefore, it is their duty, it is their responsibility to prove this case to the hilt.